Time for Straight Talk with Sheriff Leon Lott from the Richland County Sheriff's Department. His thoughts on the George Floyd verdict, community relations, defunding the police, and so much more. Welcome back, Sheriff.
Thank you. Good to be with you and your listeners.
Now, first, I want to tell our audience, Sheriff Lott has received a very prestigious award, and I don't think that he would bring this up because he is a very modest person. So let me get my horn of success here. He has a very prestigious award, National Sheriff of the Year by the National Sheriff's Association. That is huge. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And as I tell everybody, my name may be on it, but this is the award not just for Richland County Sheriff's Department, but for our community too. Our community contributed to this. This recognition isn't for us making an arrest or going out and doing something enforcement-wise. It's about the relationship that we've built with the community. And so the community plays a part of it, this is part of it here. The fact that you allow me to be on this podcast with you gives people the opportunity to hear me. That's all part of our community policing strategy that we have. And that's why we got recognized, is because the things that we do like this radio show. We kind of take it for granted that I'm doing this and think, well, other sheriffs and chiefs do that. Well, they don't. A lot of sheriffs and chiefs are just scared to go out to the community and be transparent and talk. And to us, that's what we built our foundation on. So that award is the credit to all of us that work and live and play and work together in Richland County.
Yeah, and I think that has to be the secret behind the tremendous success, because you're always so open and you're always out there in the community. Let's get down to business, though. I know that you've probably been asked this question a lot lately. Has the George Floyd guilty verdict, number one, changed your perspective in any way on policing in the community? And what changes, if any, would be implemented in the department?
Not so much changes with us within Richland County, but I think it's going to have changes across the law enforcement agencies across the United States. Unfortunately, not everybody does what we do in building relationships with the community. So we've been doing that. You don't build a relationship during a crisis. You have to build that foundation before that crisis ever happens. That's what we've been doing. But I see other agencies in the United States who have not. And I think, the death of George Floyd and the conviction of the police officer responsible for his death sends a message to the other law enforcement agencies. You need to do a better job. You need to get out here and build relationships with every community that makes up your jurisdiction, not just one, not just two, but everybody. And I think that's the message that's going to come out of this. And when you talk about police reform, I think you need to look at what's being done successful, and agencies need to tout those successes and say, this is what other people need to be doing too. We see the failures. Let's learn from those failures. And George Floyd's death was a failure on a police officer to do the right thing. So let's learn something from it, not let his life be lost in vain.
Absolutely. Now, we recently had an incident that happened in the summit, and it came very close to home. And so, first of all, could you talk a little bit about that incident? And do you think the outcome would have been different if it had not been on video?
The video definitely helped us. So there's no doubt that the video was instrumental in us being able to bring charges against the individual that assaulted the young man. Yes, that helped us tremendously. And that's what we tell people all the time. There's nothing wrong with videoing when you see an incident going on. Everybody can be a reporter these days because you have that cell phone. It's got a camera on it. So video something that you see. That helps us out. So we welcome that. So it was, a tremendous asset to us in the incident at the summit. It helped us be able to make a charge and bring the appropriate charge.
Okay, awesome. Because a lot of times you see people are deterred from using video. They don't want you to use video.
We want them to do that, and our deputies welcome that. Everything we do on camera. We have our body cameras. We have our cameras in our cars. We have cameras throughout the community. So we're doing as much as we can to video stuff that we're doing. But we encourage people, when you see something, record it, just like it was recorded by the young lady in the summit. That's a good job by her to record it because it helped us tremendously.
All right. You touched on this a little bit last time we talked about defunding the police, that term defunding the police. And there's still a growing trend in some cities. Have your views changed?
No, my views hadn't changed whatsoever. And, those calls may be in Portland and Seattle and cities like that that are really out of control. You don't see that here in Columbia and Richland County. You see the opposite. You see the communities are very supportive of law enforcement. They understand the job that we have to do. And, we talk about this a lot when I talk to community groups and say, okay, you talk about defunding the police. Okay, it's 3:00 in the morning and a murderer is breaking in your house, is going to murder the people inside. Who are you going to call? Are you going to call a plumber? Or are you going to call a handyman? No, you're going to call us. So there is a need for us. But I also agree that we do need to work with other organizations. We have built such a great relationship Department of Mental Health right now, dealing with people that's got mental illness and mental stress. Those are agencies that we have to work with, and we're doing that. So when you talk about defund the police, I think you're more talking about, okay, what can we do as a police agency to do a better job to bring the services to the people that we serve. So no effort whatsoever to defund the police in Richland County. Quite the opposite. Our community supports us and is there and knows that we need to be there for them too.
Okay, let's talk about recruiting and hiring. Recruiting, up or down right now?
Ours is always up. We've never had a problem getting good applicants here. We actually have a waiting list of people that have already been processed and waiting to get a job. So we're one of the very lucky agencies in that. I think our reputation, what we do and how we do it, and the fact that we have so much community support. So we don't have a problem doing that. And we don't do recruiting either. We don't go out and recruit people. Our program that we have with our interns is a great program. We allow college students to come in, spend time with us, see all the stuff that we do at the Sheriff's Department. They just don't sit at a desk and file papers. They actually go out, ride with the deputies, see things. They see what police work is all about. And what we found out now is that these interns get credit in school for it. Then when they make a decision what they're going to do with their career, first place they think about, I want to go work at Richland County. So they end up coming to work with us. And so programs like that, and our deputies and our community, you go out and talk to people in the community and people say, oh yeah, go work for Richland County Sheriff's Department. That's a good place to work. So our community actually recruits for us. So we don't have a problem. Our agency's full, and again, have a waiting list of deputies willing and eager to come to work here.
See, that is awesome, because you hear in other cities where you're having police officers either retiring or leaving the force because of all the stuff that's going on right now.
Right. And that's due to not having support of the community. And that is the total opposite of what we have here. We have such a great community support. So just an example, a church in Eastover last Saturday wanted to feed the deputies. So they go to our Lower Richland headquarters, they bring food, and there must have been 100 people there from the community, and half of them were kids. And they had all written thank you notes to sheriff's deputies. So our deputies are there interacting with the church members, with adults and the kids. It's just a great event. You go to Portland, you're not going to have that. You go to Seattle, you're not going to have that. You have that here in Richland County. And that, to me, that is the difference, is the support we have from the community. So we don't have people that are leaving our profession and work at the Sheriff's Department because they're scared or because they don't think the community appreciates it. It's totally the opposite.
Wow, you're going to make me want to apply, Sheriff.
Come on, we got a place for you. We can always use a good radio voice to
Awesome. Let's talk about your hiring practices. What kind of things do you look for when you're choosing an employee? And do you look on the social media pages?
Yeah, the first thing we want is people who care. People who are not getting into this for excitement and adrenaline rush. They really legitimately have to care about others and want to help people. We are a helping profession. We help people. And a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes we have to arrest people to help them. I heard the story today where this young man came and thanked somebody for helping them find Christ. And they said, well, how did I do that? I said, you locked me up 30 years ago. I went to prison. I found Christ in prison, and now I've turned my life around. Being arrested turned that person's life around. So, that's just a small percentage of what we do, but we do so much just for helping people. So we look for people who care, who want to help people, and then we check them out. Psychological testing, talk about social media. Not only do we check their social media, we check all their friends' social media. So they may not have something on their social media, but if they're associating with someone who has put some, bad stuff on social media and they're associated with them, then we know they may be the like mind too. So we don't want them. So
Wow.
we do very intense background checks. We do a polygraph on them. So we make sure we do everything to find the right person that's going to really come to this job and care about what they're doing.
Wow. All right. One last thing. We've touched on this a little bit about community relations, and you paint such a beautiful picture. I can't imagine anything that would need to be done any differently or even better. But in the current climate that we have, what do you think needs to be done to maybe improve the community relations in this county?
Well, continue what we're doing, but also be able to reach out to our younger people. I think that's a gap that we haven't completely filled in. And just before I got on the show here with you, I had all my public information officers in here, and we were meeting on what we were just talking about. What strategies can we use to be able to reach more people, and particularly that younger crowd? So our public information people are they don't all look like me. They're not all my age. We have different races and we have different ages, so they bring a different perspective. And we talked about the different ways, particularly through social media, how we can reach the younger people. Someone who's 18, 19, 20 years old is not going to pick up a newspaper and read it. They're not going to look at the 6 o'clock news, but they're going to look at that phone and they look at Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and all that stuff. We have to do a better job of reaching that segment of our community by using the tools that they use for communication.
All right, Sheriff Leon Lott, straight talk. Always a pleasure having you on the show. And you have an open door invitation. Thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to add before we go?
Well, I just want to thank the community. And we did have an incident at the summit, and I applaud the community how they peacefully protested. Unfortunately, we had one person that did some vandalism, but you know what? The crowd was totally against that person. They told him, no, don't do that. That's disrupting the message that we're trying to get. So our community actually policed themselves, and we didn't have to do anything. We didn't even have the community peacefully protested, and I'm proud of our community for being able to do that. Taking the situation, having their voices heard, but doing it in the way that needs for that message comes out. So I just appreciate the Richland County community for what all they do.
All right. And we appreciate you and your whole staff. Thank you so much for what you do for Richland County.
Thank you.